Are you still in touch with from Big Brother? Anyone?
Everyone.
Charlie's actually in Ireland.
Oh, yeah,
she's staying at Hughie's place, so we're really
everyone
close to Charlie.
Everyone apart from Andy
and Jason.
And were they horrible?
And Natalie, obviously.
Oh, and Natalie, yeah.
They were horrible, but you don't like them. Okay, fine.
I hate them.
That's a fairly strong sentiment there.
Don't hide your feelings, Hughie. Don't hide your feelings.
You know where it stands.
Yes, we do.
But listen, you live in a house with somebody, like, if you don't like them, you do hate them. Like, I mean, they get on your way.
Show did you do?
I did a thing called Kings of Comedy, which was made by Endemol, the people who make Big Brother. So it's the same.
Were you living in a house?
Yeah, we were there for a month. So
Who's in it?
There was myself and 7 other comedians, but it was comedians, and then we had a little comedy club on the side of it. It was for Channel 4. It was like 2004, something like that. And there was a guy called Stan Boardman in there. He's an old school mainstream comedian, Scouse guy, horrible. Yeah, he was the one.
What other comedians were in there?
I don't know. You know them. I don't really know. You would. Scott Capurro, he's an American comic.
Could you actually leave this house then?
No, you're in.
And any contact, like TV or newspaper?
No, you're in there.
Was it all Battle of the Funniest? Who had the best shows?
We'd have to leave the house and go into the adjacent comedy club. And there'd be different, say, one day you'd have to do improv, next day you'd have to use puppets, one day the crowd would be people from an old folks' home, next day it would be children. And then
sounds like hell.
What was the thing? Was there a prize at the end?
I won it.
Did you?
The
king of comedy.
He's been waiting for somebody to ask how did it finish.
I just let that ball cross past me into the box.
I could see where it was going from the start. Well done.
It was live. I got a crown, all the rest of it. Everybody cheered. The minute it went off, the studio floor manager went, we need the crown of rose back.
Oh my God!
I don't get it.
You didn't get to keep it?
No. That's straight away.
Why would
Show
you give
business
it to
is
you
so harsh.
Was it expensive? Did they?
No.
That was a prop.
It was a prop. Yeah.
Stingy some people, aren't they?
We'll get you.
Yeah, no. There was this guy. Stan Boardman.
And if you never saw him again, it would be too soon.
Well, the first day in the house, he kept calling me Paddy.
Oh, because you're Irish.
Why? Just because you're Irish?
I was like, my name's Andrew. I just introduced myself to you. Don't be like that. It was that passive-aggressive thing of, don't be like that. If you're Scouse, you're a jock. If I'm a Scouser, you Scottish people are a jock. You know, Cockneys are from London, you're a Paddy.
I stereotype everybody.
Yeah, I was like, whatever.
Oh, yeah, like,
I wouldn't have it. I just wouldn't have it. Like, no.
That would drive me mad.
No, it was insane. He was insane. He was extremely competitive, man.
Dragon's Den isn't anything as intense that, in the sense that we're allowed to go home at night time, and you do need the break. But in the early days of it, I hadn't realised, you know, and people who watch the programme don't realise how long we're in the den. We're locked into it for about 3 weeks of recordings, right? And you see pitches from 8 a.m. in the morning, and you're still seeing pitches at 9 o'clock at night time. And the mistake I used to make in the early days was, you know, you'd have something on it, say, oh, by the way, the night after tomorrow, on Tuesday night, I've to be in Dundalk for 8 o'clock. So they'd know I'd be under a bit of pressure. And they would have learned after a few weeks that Gavin hates people of these outrageous valuations.
Sure.
So they'd send in that person at sort of 9 o'clock on the Tuesday night. And of course you're going to flip. You know, it's just cabin fever, but they get great TV.
Yeah, of course.
Because all at home be telling me, now be nice to the people. Of course I am going to be nice to them, you know. Yeah. They're in the middle of a recession. And next thing you're there and you're sort of, you know, hours, days and days. And then at the end of a really long day, in comes your guy, he wants to give you 5% for 2 million. And you say, what? You know, you can't help
it. It's an egg turner.
So I've learned not to tell them of pressing engagements.
At the end of the day, it's all TV shows, and we're all here to sell the toilet roll.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The toilet roll.
The toilet roll.
It's
stuff like, when you think of it, anything on TV. Like,
there's a lady who's grounded.
Exactly.
Listen, if you met my family, you'd know well why I am now. There's nothing wrong with telling a few white lies, right? But who do you think is more prone to it, the boys or the girls? Well, a new study by Honest shows that men tell the truth more than women. It found that women are more likely to throw a sickie and make up a fake excuse to get out of a date compared to men. White lies, lads, hands up.
Absolutely. I think they're very important.
I don't think it matters who they say.
I don't think it has anything to do with
it's down to them as a person. If you're going to tell lies, you're going to tell lies.
And they actually speak as one, do you know that?
There can't be a statistic.
What do you mean? We're not like Jedward.
I hope you're not like Jedward.
because they're related.
Show them here.
No, I'm not showing them out.
One at a time, because you
I
put
don't.
it together.
Statistics or studies ever could show male or female to have a higher percentage, but that has nothing to do with if they're a man, if they lie, or a woman if they lie. It's just them as a person.
Yeah.
You call it a white lie. I call it a compliment. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Like
Andrew, does my bum look big in this?
Yes, but in a good way.
I don't get it.
I don't get
No,
why
what I'm
it's a
saying is,
compliment.
there's a mate of mine, American comedian friend of mine, right? And he introduces himself to everyone by going, "How you doing there, handsome?" And like, he's a friend of mine, and I've seen him do it to other people. But when I see him, I haven't seen him for a couple of months. He's like, "Hey, how you doing there, handsome?"
That's just being friendly, though. It's not
yeah, but I
telling
still
a white
it's a
lie.
white lie, but I still take it as a compliment. Yeah, why not?
Why? Because it called you friend.
I thought, what?
No, but I think what's lovely about you two is you can see that you're in fresh, young love, the way they agree, they'd never tell a lie, etc. As somebody who's been married to the same woman now for almost 25 years...
Listen to the words of wisdom here now, lads.
You've grown to a few white
lies are essential to a relationship.
Now, give me an example of
But what is a white lie? I
A
asked
white
that.
lie is when telling the truth is going to cause a bigger problem than telling a little
Yeah, but it
porky.
depends what the
So,
truth
for
is.
example, you would be mad to say to your wife or to your partner, gosh, your sister made a pass at me. Does she always do that? You've set off a grenade
not a
in that.
white lie. That's not a white
I don't think that's a white lie.
That's
I think that's more. I think that's at least a brown lie.
Yeah, that's not a white. That's
It's
a
a
black
blue lie or
That's
something.
a black lie.
Telling a white lie is saying that your partner looks nice when really you don't.
No, that's bad as well. No, a white lie is like
no, that
saying,
is a white lie. That is
a little lie.
That's a white lie. That's a little- That's what I'm saying. It's a
point I'm making is,
Please,
sorry, one
honestly.
point. The point I'm making is that sometimes telling the full truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth isn't productive. So you
Sometimes.
have to, or best of all, say nothing.
Not when your
That's-
sister-in-law tries it on.
I hope to God your wife doesn't have a sister now, because
Yeah.
constantly worrying.
I thought a white lie is something like you really got a Slayer or ice cream, but you tell your friend or boyfriend or husband, wife that you got a Twister. Like a simple, stupid thing that matters nothing.
She'd see you eating the
Well,
Slurry, so she'd know you never
yeah,
got
that's insane.
For
Why would you be
example-
lying about
And
that
that's
at all?
I thought a white lie was like the most simplest, stupidest.
No,
like,
No, that's a fair
that's-
point, but I think you're oversensitive. If you're trying to please Ryan that much,
No, I'm not
I don't
sensitive
know who you
at
are.
all.
Clearly, you've
I am
now
not
confessed it.
sensitive at all.
That's how sensitive
You need to tell your wife
I
it's
told
her
you you're being
sister.
sensitive.
You need to tell your wife it's her sister.
Sorry.
He forgot he's on
Her
camera.
sisters, there's a number of them, thanks for the call, so I won't be saying.
Look at you.
Yeah,
So they're all on to you.
never, ever.
I am not saying.
You're such a
You're
stud.
you're too
YouTube
sensitive
me.
there.
You need to YouTube me and you know I'm definitely not sensitive.
You are a bit sensitive.
Anyway, let's.
Sensitive to your feelings. That's all.
Oh, that's so cute.
Just let me clarify. The lovely Ms. Carmody, if you're watching, I'm sure your sister's never hit on your husband. Anyway,
No, they
yes,
certainly
but,
never have.
For me, a white lie would be you're going out in a night out, and himself goes, "God, I don't know about this jacket. Is a bit. Is it too young for me?" And it is. You look like a teenager. You look like you're trying too hard. But you won't say that because it would
Because you know
upset
it'd
them.
upset them, yeah.
That's a white lie.
Yeah, that's
you
a
look
white lie.
ridiculous. I'm not going to tell you that.
I just
That's a
open
white
the door
lie.
and get out.
What if somebody
let's
else
just
has
move.
Do you know
another night
where-
out? That's
But
worse.
that's a white lie. What isn't a white lie is like a big, huge, massive porky pie of gargantuan proportions that like you cheated and you didn't tell them. That's not.
Oh, that's not a white lie.
No, that's just-
But
That
what
would
if it
not be a
comes to
white
the
lie.
big ones, like you found out that your best friend's wife or girlfriend went off with somebody else? Do you tell him, don't you? Like, that's not
I
a
would.
white
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
not a
yeah.
white lie.
No, that's also not in the white lie territory at all.
Yeah, but you would.
Would you tell?
It'd be a
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd sort of knock in and say, "Listen,
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw your
I
bird
wouldn't be
off.
friends with anybody. that
Your
couldn't tell
wife's
them
going to be
the truth,
questioning the whole relationship watching
Yeah, I wouldn't- I
this.
wouldn't
If they're not a friend, they're just a neighbour."
Oh, well, yeah, I don't like. I live in England, so nobody knows their neighbours.
What
Yeah.
about if...
Nobody knows their neighbours in England.
But if it was a
so-
mate, you tell them. See, that's the thing. I always think that it's shoot the messenger, because invariably people get back with whoever they're...
Listen, might short-term shoot the messenger, but if long-term they found out you had a message in your back pocket and you didn't deliver it,
Yeah, it's worse.
then you've lost a friend.
Do you think the same, that you should tell?
Like if a friend
I
of
think
mine
you've got to be honest.
and somebody who's with them said tried it with me, well, I have to tell them, but
Yeah.
a lot of the time I agree with him that you do get some people that are so in love with somebody desperately try to blame someone else,
Yeah.
and they just
You
blame the
probably blame
person.
you. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I find, that young men are incredibly honest these days.
Yeah.
What my sons tell us at home there are certainly things I wouldn't have owned up to.
Yeah.
You know, like one of the guys recently, you know, missed an appointment. He was going. Like I wouldn't have told my parents that, because straight away we're thinking, what, did you not bother? Were you? Did you? See? You know, but they'll always fess up and tell
Do you know why? Because you trip up. I'm really bad at lying because you forget your lies, and that's what happens. Anyway, right, time for another quick break. But when you come back, apparently, man flu is real. Find out more in 3.